Hey everybody, JJ here, back with another episode of Zoom Networking. It is Saturday, Los Angeles, California, but you guys are probably anywhere across the country. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest speaker today is amazing. Young lady coming on to speak to us about social media and how you can use a computer and your computer to market your business, market yourself. And I talk about that all the time, the importance of networking, the importance of social media. Our guest speaker is Jeune Ortiz, who's absolutely wonderful. Jeune, how you doing today?
Hey, JJ, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Well, I'm really excited about your presentation. As you and I spoke about the other day, a lot of what you do and what I do kind of marries in together. So I think the folks on the call are going to get a lot of benefit from what you're going to be sharing with them today.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. In the beginning, I came in and JJ was kind of coaching all of you on how to set up your social media profiles. And he's spot on. I mean, you guys cannot be confusing people with multiple faces inside of your cover photos or inside of your profile picture. People want to know who you are, so that way they can recognize you immediately when they see you in REI groups or even in person. And the other thing too that he pointed out was putting in that you're a real estate investor. That's a big keyword. And when you're networking and other people are looking to network with an investor, it will help them trust you faster because they won't have to search your page for your latest rehab to know that you're an investor. So JJ, I mean, that was gold, and hopefully you guys will heed his advice. He's been doing this a long time, and that was perfect.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been doing this for a number of years now. I've been using the internet for a while, and I'm just a little bit more comfortable with it. And I try and share my comfort with other folks. But what I do doesn't even begin to be a drop of water to, the Pacific Ocean compared to the knowledge that you have and the time that you've put into social media and doing what you do. So just wanted to talk about you for a second. Was social media, the computer, was that something that you used in college at all? Did you study that, or was it not something you did in college, or did you go to college, or?
Yeah, actually, everything that I know about social media or even using the computer, I pretty much learned on my own. And before I became a real estate investor, I actually owned a web design and development company where we did social media, search engine optimization, pay-per-click. We basically did everything. We even created squeeze pages and lead magnets, if you guys know what those are. So I've been using social media and internet marketing for many years. I ran that company for about 18 years.
Now, when you were doing that, was that in line with real estate investment or people that were real estate investors, or was this for just kind of sort of like for any kind of company? And when did you start to take that in line with real estate?
Actually, that was not at all real estate related. We worked with Fortune 500 companies. If you're in California, you may know VA House Casino. We built their website. So we had a number of, from startup to, larger businesses that we worked with. So I came into real estate much later. And even though I had rentals, I didn't know that real estate investing was a thing that you could do for a living, that it was actually a way that you could just have a job and have it be your entrepreneurial thing that you did. So when Future Inc., that was my web design business, we shut that down. We sold the business, and I was looking for my next move. And really, in my heart, I'm a teacher. I love teaching. I love educating. I love just opening people up to new possibilities and seeing like that aha look on their face. And so I was looking for something in the educational field, and I actually ended up with Fortune Builders. And that's where I learned that you could actually do real estate investing as a living. And so what I did for them, and actually still do, is run their Mind Protein program and teach investors how to utilize all of the internet marketing for finding deals.
Fantastic. And of course, Fortune Builders where you and I met many years ago. And well, not many, but probably about 3-4 years ago. I'd heard your name before I'd even seen your face. And then, as I was saying yesterday, I went to an event and Jeune Ortiz was at the event. I said, "Oh my gosh," I was too intimidated to walk up and introduce myself because, you were, when people get, when they get to be known on social media and they get to be known in more of a public platform, along with that goes a great deal of respect, a great deal of validity. And so you're someone I knew of before I got to know. And I know to some extent I'm encountering that now. People are getting to know of me before they get to know me. But as you're doing the social media and as you've now done it now for Fortune Builders, what do you like best? Is it working with the people? Is it working with the computers and not with people? Is there a combination of that? What do you like best about what you're doing today?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that ultimately it always comes down to the people, because, like I said, being a teacher it's just in my heart, and I love that. I look at all the online marketing, social media, and everything that I do is just a means to an end. What I really want to do is inspire people to get out there on social media and become known and to be more successful, because I feel like if I can help one real estate investor become more successful, then the lives that they're going to touch are way more many lives than I could touch and affect just doing it by myself.
And I have that same opinion, and which is why we're kind of so in tune with one another.
Yeah, JJ, it's amazing that it took so long for me and JJ to actually get to know each other, because we would, constantly float around each other at events, and he was in the program that I was overseeing. And so it's really fantastic. And, this is just another example of how social media can bring you closer, and not only bring you closer, but also at the same time expand your social influence and your circle of influence. And that is really, really important. And I know we're going to get into a little bit more about social media and building that bulletproof credibility, but it's just so it's so powerful. I can't recommend it enough. When I did my web design company, like I said, we did everything. We did social media and web design and everything. And at the time, social media was not where it is today. So I was a huge proponent of search engine optimization. We did a ton of that at my company because it really was the best way for companies to get found. And now I've completely switched. And now it's really all about social media. Social media is faster, it's cheaper, it's easier, and you can get in touch literally with hundreds or thousands of people in your community and outside your community, like instantly.
I think it's you're right on point with one of the things that I say, and I'm in the beginning stages of what you teach. You're the elevated level of what I try and introduce people to. But when you mention it within the community, there are people that are from Fortune Builders, Sub 2, Jamil Damji's Astro Flipping, Brent Daniels Talk to People, so many programs out there that all have a base on Facebook. And that's where all the people of those respective education programs do their initial preliminary networking. And as you say, to become known within your community is to use and leverage Facebook to be visible with those that are in your program, because ideally, whatever program we're starting in, we are taught or told or suggested to work in hand with our fellow student. And so that's why it's really beneficial that we learn how to use social media to build our visibility and our relationships within our community. So that's really, really right on base. I had a couple questions here that we got into. I think we've touched on a couple of these. One of them was, how do we know one another? And obviously that was through Fortune Builders.
Yep.
I was probably one of those students coming up right in the beginning of a number of them just asking a question. And I guess eventually you saw my group grow a little bit. And I kind of probably, I guess at one point in time, I think my visibility got a little bit more than the other students. And that's what I've just tried to share with everybody, is that if they make the effort to be visible, they can be known within their community also. Let's see. One of the questions is, what did you do before you became an investor? And then obviously that was your previous business is social media and running that for a multitude of companies.
Well, actually, it wasn't social media. It was actually web design and internet marketing. Social media was just one of the tools that we used. And it obviously has come a long way. And now I feel that it is way more powerful than even just having your website. You could start a business first on social media without having a website. I recommend you have one, but what I'm saying is social media is so powerful, it can actually launch your business without even having a website, where many years ago that wasn't the case.
And for example, you may be referring to, or I would think maybe Instagram. I know a lot of business people are using Instagram just as much now these days, if not more than Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram is extremely powerful. I love Instagram. One of the reasons I like Instagram a lot is because it's an open network. So as a business, when you're on Facebook and you have your business Facebook page, any post that you put on there, it only is seen by less than 1% of the people who are following your page. So Facebook does not push those posts out very far or very wide, because it's very much a pay to play platform. Whereas Instagram, on the other side, if you have a business page, it goes out to everybody. Everybody can see it. And if you're using the right hashtags, it's going to be seen by the people who are following that hashtag. So Instagram is very, very powerful. And I love it for networking, but also for getting in front of sellers, motivated sellers.
Jeune, when you mentioned hashtags, that's something that's very common. I'll just say for the younger generations. In my era, going to college, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have things maybe like they have today, and certainly didn't have hashtags. What's the importance of hashtags? How do you use hashtags? And for people that are maybe coming out of a career where they weren't using social media, can you touch on hashtags and how they apply to Instagram versus Facebook?
Yeah, actually. And, hashtags is actually, that could take up a whole session in and of itself. So I give you guys hashtags in a nutshell, basically. So hashtags is literally when you put the number symbol in front of a group of words. So it could be a sentence. It could be like JJ rocks, right? So you do hashtag JJ rocks with no spaces between those words. And that will be a hashtag. So hashtags are very much community driven. People make them up, and then other people get behind those hashtags. Hashtags are akin to keywords if you're familiar with search engine optimization, or if you've ever used Google and you put something in the search bar, anything you put in that search bar is considered a keyword by Google. And so hashtags are very similar, only they're on the social media side instead of the website side of things. And they work really, really well on a lot of the platforms. LinkedIn has them, Instagram has them, Facebook has them. Facebook's hashtags, they were not embraced for a very long time, but now the tide is turning, and you're going to start seeing, or maybe already have start seeing, more people using hashtags. And I've noticed that if I add hashtags to my Facebook post, it gets seen by a lot more people than if I don't add hashtags. So just a couple of really quick pointers when you're selecting your hashtags. For investors, because we work locally, put in a location where you're based. So you want to cover three things. One is your business and what you do. The second thing is the audience you're trying to target. And the third thing is a hashtag that relates directly to the content of the post that you're putting out there. So when you're making up a hashtag or using a hashtag that already exists, try to hit those 3 points. So if we were to hit all 3 points, you'd have 3 hashtags. But of course, you want to expand that a little bit and maybe use 2 to 5 different hashtags for each bullet point.
Cool. Fantastic. Yeah, I don't always get a chance to put the hashtags in. I'm just glad to get a post out sometimes.
Yeah.
and of course, with my group, I'm just trying to get people to understand, just do it better. Don't worry about perfection. Done is better than none. As my friend Elisa Sibielo used to say, done is better than none.
Yeah.
We're talking about social media, and I have a question of, why social media? Can you touch on that? Maybe credibility or things of that nature?
Yeah, I think, since we're all here to learn a little bit about credibility, let's definitely dive into this a little bit. So one thing that I love about social media is the instantaneous results. So JJ talked a little bit about being seen and being found in your community, and that could be those REI groups on Facebook. But you also want to be found in your local offline community, in whatever city that you are working in. And that's where that location hashtag is really, really important, because it allows people, for instance, agents or contractors or even lenders who are in that area, who actually have to have eyes on your property or work with you in person. It allows them to find you. And so those location hashtags are really important. But social media itself can build outstanding credibility. And, the title of this session is Bulletproof Credibility, even if you haven't done your first deal. So let me just take a quick hand raise here. How many people have not done their first deal yet? If you can just, okay. Cool. Awesome. And that's, every deal has to depend, of course, on leads. And you can actually get leads by networking. So that kind of brings us around full circle. Networking is a fantastic way to get your first lead, especially if you haven't done a first deal. But you have to look like a legitimate business and entity to people. So I'm going to ask you guys another question here, because social media is able to create credibility. And there are 3 types of credibility. And social media it does this very, very naturally and not at all artificially. So who has more credibility? Someone you know or someone you don't know? Yeah, so not a trick question. Somebody that you know has more credibility than someone you don't know. All right, let me ask you this. Who has more credibility? Someone you can find on the internet, that's one, or someone you can't find on the internet? Okay, one more question here. Who has more credibility? Someone who leaves you with a good impression, number one, or someone who leaves you with a bad impression? What this points out is that we're all in agreement about what credibility is. We're all in agreement that these are things that you have to have in order to have credibility. And social media does these 3 things great. One of them is called initial credibility. And that is when it's a credibility you bring with you. So it is when people know who you are. And new investors need to focus on this really hard. And if you haven't done your first deal, that means you're probably not very widely known in your community. And so you have to focus on being known, because if people don't see your face, and that's a huge thing. And I heard JJ talk about it a little bit too. Use your face as often as you can. Use it in your profile pictures, because people trust faces more than they're ever going to trust a logo. So if you're still hiding behind a logo on your social media, that is not going to be a good thing. So that's initial credibility. Credibility you bring with you because people know you. Then there's derived credibility. And that is the credibility that you can actually borrow. And you can do this on social media really easily. It is basically citing the sources of the information, where when you're making a post, you cite the credible source that you got it from. That is a really fantastic way. Showing your expertise, teaching people what you know about real estate investing. That's another fantastic way to create credibility, because people will then start saying that you know stuff. And when you know stuff, you start becoming trusted. And then the last type of credibility is called terminal credibility. And that is the last impression that people are left with. So if they don't know you and they don't know how much you know, and you don't seem very credible because of the sources you're citing, then they're going to rely on their gut feeling about you. How do they feel about you? And so this is another thing that you can do very easily on social media, is by creating your own personal brand. And by that, I mean, show your face, be out there and engage with other people. Be thoughtful in your engagement. So when you're commenting on other people's posts and things like that, I would say, I love that JJ said, don't just do the thumbs up, actually have a bigger reaction, show bigger emotion. Well, I would go a step further and say, always leave a comment. It's sort of lazy that we can just hit that button, but it doesn't give any feedback to the person who took the time to create that post. And if you got value, people love to hear that you got value. That is the easiest and the fastest way to just start getting known in any community, is by commenting, because so many people don't. It's unusual. And so if you start doing it, people are going to just take notice of you.
Yeah, that's so very important, is to obviously engage. The like button, the react button is huge. Well, with the algorithm, it's stated, and I don't have any proof, but it's been told to me that the algorithm says you get no credit for the blue thumbs up. So hit anything else. My point is, hit anything. Hit anything. If everybody else is already hitting the blue thumbs up, pick something different and stand out. Mm-hmm. But with that also, Facebook gives you engagement. Part of the score for engagement is the comment. You get credit for doing a comment. So always do a comment. But when you do that comment, add a GIF image, because it makes your comment more visible. That GIF image sits next to your name and your photo, and that markets you. So always use a GIF image. And when you do a comment, ask a question of the person that's done the post you're responding to, because then that solicits an answer, that solicits an engagement. And when that person whose post you're responding to answers your question, you get points for the answer. So definitely hit the like button, anything but the blue thumbs up. Definitely comment. And I always say add a GIF image and add a question. Janae, you're completely on board. You're awesome. You're right on target. And I'm glad that the things I'm doing to help the people that are beginning apply to those that you're taking to the next level, because that's exactly what you're doing with everything that you're about. Social media. Yep. Leads. Can you get leads from social media?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. You can get leads. Social media is a zero waste marketing platform. So by that, I mean, social media is a great way to market in and of itself, but it also supports every other marketing you do. So we talked a little bit about that derived credibility. If you're found online, you're more credible than if you're not. So if somebody gets a postcard from you, or if they get a text message from you, and you ask them to visit your website, if they can find that website, great, but they are going to want to know what other people's opinions of you are, and they could definitely try to find you on social media, because social media is a great place for complaints. People will complain on social media if they feel like you haven't done what you promised them to do, because they want everybody, as many people, to know as possible. So they will look you up on social media. And if they find you on social media and your social media profile is just filled with all kinds of posts showing testimonials from people that you have worked with, or showing off your knowledge about real estate investing, or talking about anything that a homeowner would care about, then they see kind of this big track record that you've been in business, that people trust you, that people like you. And that helps them I will sort of binge on your content, if you will. And all of that supports any kind of marketing effort that you're doing. So yes, 100% you can get leads from social media. There's the direct messaging, which is the thing that I am a big fan of. I like to take people directly to that and not to a phone call. I would never put as a call to action, call me if you're ready to sell your house, because that means they have to leave social media, find their phone, come back, look up your number back on social media, and dial you. And that's just too many steps. It puts too many blocks in the way. That's why my call to action on social media primarily is always DM me or chat me right now, because they don't have to leave the platform to do that. And so it's a very, very quick way to begin your conversation. Once you're in conversation, then by all means, get their phone number and move them to a phone call as fast as you can. But social media is a very non-threatening way to have a conversation with somebody, because it's just over text or chat. And so it doesn't take any effort from them. They don't have to meet you in person or drive anywhere. And it's just so much easier to get information from people that way.
Now, when you talk about easier, a number of people are already using social media in one way or another. I know a lot of people I'm talking to say, I already know how to use Facebook. I'm already using social media. How can investors use social media better, maybe than they're doing it today?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there are so many things that I see investors doing out there, and I wish I could talk to every single one of them. So I'm really glad that everybody on this call is going to get some really good advice about this. So first thing is, you will be able to attract people to your social media account just by having the social media account and following and commenting and liking other people's posts. So that's a huge way that I see investors not using social media properly. So they will post, but they'll only do like this one-way conversation. Social media is social. It's a two-way conversation. So you have to get into conversations with people, like them, follow them, and engage with them. So that's one way that they could be doing things a little bit better. The second thing too is market your social media. You should have your logos on your business cards with the address for your social media sites. They should be on your email signature so that people can click and find you. They should be on your signage that you have at your properties. They should be everywhere that your name appears. You should also have links to your social media profiles, because people will go there and they will look you up. And again, if you have all kinds of great content on your social media accounts, people are going to follow you and they're going to watch you, because this is also going to help them build trust with you. Trying to think, content. Content is another huge thing. Often I know as investors, we're so eager to find our next deal. But if all you're posting is, I want to buy your house, we buy houses, I'll give you cash for your house, we buy as is, over and over and over again, people get burned out on that. Because you have to remember, our ideal customers, our motivated sellers, they make a very small percentage of all the people who are selling their house. And so if you are on social media, you're going to be attracting a ton more people to your profiles that aren't going to be motivated sellers. So it's really important that you have good content and posts that other people will like to read and consume. And what this does is it puts you top of mind in their brains about you. First, they'll know that you're in the community. Secondly, you're developing trust with them. And then third, if there is a vacant house in their neighborhood, who are they going to think of? Hopefully it's you, because you have been in their face, building all this trust and rapport with them all along the way through the content that you're posting. So there's a lot of different content. And I would encourage everybody to post more different content that will raise your credibility, show off your knowledge, and help people know that you're in their community. So one thing that I have, and we didn't actually talk on this, but my business is REI Social, and it's actually a turnkey social media service. It's basically a system for ready to publish posts. And we try to hit all of these kinds of content points to help you become a local expert in the community and raise your credibility.
Now, we spoke briefly about a couple aspects of what you're doing today. And you just mentioned content. Tell me about the Content Club. What is that? How does that work? How does that help the Content Club?
Yeah, so the Content Club, it's a ready to publish social media post specifically for real estate investors. So when I became a real estate investor, I struggled so hard with trying to figure out what I should be posting. So it really took me a couple of years to kind of develop this, and trial and error, trying things to see what was going to work, what was going to resonate with people. And so I finally dialed it in. And as I was working this out for myself, being in my position, I always would hear students and other investors saying, yeah, I don't have time to post on social media. I don't have time for most of my marketing. And also, I don't even know what to say or, how I should use social media and put it out there. And so what I decided once I kind of figured it out for myself, I thought this is something that other investors could use. And so I created the Content Club, and it's a monthly service. So every month, real estate investors get 30 days of fresh social media posts that they can customize for their own business and just put it out there.
Very cool. Could you give us an example of that? Do you have something you could share?
So once you become a member, you get this link that says the content dashboard. And then basically, I'll just take you through everything. So this is where you'll find all the content. Every month I do a rundown, so a video that shows you what posts are important for you to pay attention to. So when you're using them for yourselves, you know how to use them a little bit better. And then there are these 4 tutorials that will actually get you up and running with the service in under an hour. It's really about maybe 45 minutes. So everything is there, but the real wonderful thing is the content. So we'll just take a look real quickly at June's content. And I'm almost ready to turn it over and get some July content up there. So the first of the month. So all of the images are inside of Canva. So you get days 1 through 15, and then the second half of the month. You get a monthly blog post pre-written that you can just put up on your website, and story formatted templates. So those would be the vertical images. And I also have video scripts, because video is huge right now, and it's a short form video. So it would be 30 seconds or under video. So all you have to do is put your camera on, read the script, and you're good to go. So this would be an example of one of the posts. So this would be a market update. And this is to help your credibility. So it shows that you are in touch with your local market. All of these numbers and the city, of course, they're all customizable for your own location. But then I always have a post in here that you can just copy and paste. So you'll see I have copy and paste here, and then you would just click this button to copy it straight out of here and stick it right into Facebook. Sometimes it's a fill in the blanks, like this one here. So you would just fill out like your company name is missing here, so you'd have to put that in. But all of these can be customized for your exact business. And this is the blog post. So I put out some posts so you can market your latest blog. And then, it's all for real estate investors. So you're not trying to constantly change the verbiage. If you're a real estate agent, or if you've ever looked at real estate agent social media services, you get a lot of stuff that you can't use. It's just not written for investors. This is one of the examples, like I was talking about, to show that you are a person in the neighborhood who is living in the city. and you're in touch with the city and things that are happening. This gives you a well-rounded persona on social media instead of I'm only an investor, I only buy houses for cash, and this is all I think about. This actually shows, hey, I'm in touch with the local community, and shows that maybe you're going to run into somebody even at one of these events. So it helps you just become more likable. There's this know, like, trust factor that is incredibly important on social media. And I have a lot of posts in here that are just for anybody, right? Anybody could enjoy this post about how to clean your grill. And again, I know it seems a little strange because we're so programmed to want that next deal. It's hard to put your brain around posting something like this. But you have to remember, most of your audience is not going to be motivated sellers. So you've got to appeal to them and get them to like you and want to keep returning, because this is how we build trust. This is how we become known to people and likable to people. And then, of course, we always have something to help you network. So I've got agent posts in here. This one happens to be for investors. So how we work with the other investors to help you begin building that list. So in case you have a wholesale that you need to sell, or if you're looking for a wholesale, you want to be on both sides of the list with other investors. So this is a really important post. And it's just a little bit like paint by numbers, JJ. So, if you don't know what you're supposed to be posting, then you just post whatever day it says you're supposed to be posting on. So on day 6 of June, post this. And I'll even tell you where you should be posting it. For instance, this is a great one to use for LinkedIn and for real estate investors and Facebook. And then I always have these videos that I just made. So in case you're not sure why you should be using a post, like what is a list? Why do I need to be building a list? Then you play this video and it just explains everything. So yes, it's a social media service, but at the same time, it's also education. It's also providing you a social media by number, if you will. So you know exactly what to be posting, where to be posting it, and what to say. And customize it, of course, for anything that suits your business. We hear all the time, just hire a VA to do your social media. And I can tell you, when I was trying to figure this out for myself, I did hire VAs. They had no clue what to post for me because they didn't know our audience, right? Real estate investors, we have 5 different audiences that we have to be marketing to all the time. It's not like an agent is going to be marketing to sellers or buyers, or sellers and buyers, right? They've got 2 people that they have to market to. We have 5. We've got investors, we've got agents, we've got motivated sellers, we have homeowners, and we have contractors that we should always be getting on our list. So when you go to a VA and you say, just do my social media, they're going to treat you very much like a real estate agent, because that's probably all the real estate experience that they have. And so they're going to be posting stuff to help you sell houses, not buy houses. So that's one thing. And you're going to need to train them all the time. So I know this because I went down that path and I told them, stop making me look like a real estate agent. And then what I got was I just got a lot of inspirational posts, right? Cute little quotes with like some kind of sunset behind the letters and stuff. It was not helpful. It wasn't actually letting me build relationships with my audience. So REI Social has all the training inside. I just showed you guys on the content dashboard. All you need to do is tell your VA, watch this training, because as long as they know how to post on Facebook and Instagram and all of the places, then they're going to be able to use these posts. They don't have to learn anything about real estate investing. All they need to know are a few key points, like what's the business name they should be using on your post. And some of the posts get specific about what kind of houses you want to buy. So what is the square footage? And those are mostly for the real estate investor posts to trade information. So that way, if there's a wholesaler who has something that matches you, that they will know to contact you. So as long as your VA has some of this information, they can run with this. and they can just post it out on your behalf. You don't have to worry about the grammar. You don't have to worry that they don't know what they're doing. You don't have to worry that it's not going to look professional. It's done. And so it saves you a ton of time. And if they ghost you, because I've also been ghosted by VAs, then it's very easy to put another one in place. So that way they can just pick this up and run with it.
When it comes to, I'll say, going outside of our own home, our own residence, or getting assistance for social media, some people have bigger budgets than others. What can a new investor expect that social media, getting assistance with a VA or engaging company might run? Is it something in the hundreds of dollars a week, a month, thousands of dollars a week or month? What are the parameters that one looks at when they're engaging either a VA or a social media company to assist them with their marketing?
Yeah, so if you're going to be paying like somebody from Fiverr, typically it's going to run you about $300 a month for some posts, like 12. Let's see, how many weeks are in a month? For about 12 posts. And so you're not going to get a full month of posts with them. And they will also limit the networks that you can be on. So they'll say something like, I will post for you 3 times a week on Facebook and Instagram. And that's it, but nothing on Google My Business, nothing on LinkedIn. These posts can be used anywhere. So Canva will actually help you resize the posts so that way you can post them on any network. So you get 30 days of posts and you can post them on any network. If you hire an agency, you're looking at even more money. You're probably going to be starting more around $600 a month. And they're not even going to throw in the blog post or the video scripts or anything else like I've put into this program.
Okay, so if you were to outsource, what would this run maybe versus something like your Constant Club?
Okay, so let's see, 30 days of posts for any network, plus video scripts, plus a blog post. I don't know if you guys have priced any of this stuff out. It's very expensive. You're probably looking at $1,200 a month. That's what it would cost you, $1,200 a month, more maybe, but let's just call that a baseline. And the Content Club is $150 a month. So that's it. You get all of the posts, the blog post, the video scripts, I forgot about the stories as well. You get those included every time as well. Yeah.
And when you encounter investors that are, say, coming to you for assistance and wanting to learn how to improve their social media, is this something that, how do people get started? Is it something that's easy to pick up, difficult to pick up? What's the best way for people to get started with learning how to maybe take their social media to the next level?
Yeah, I think I've tried to make this as much as a copy and paste kind of thing as possible. As long as you know how to make a Facebook post, you're going to be able to do this. And it's going to take you no time at all to pick it up, maybe modify a little bit. You don't even have to touch the pictures if you don't want to. You can use them as they are right out of the box. And then just schedule them inside of your favorite scheduler. It could be Facebook, or do them one at a time, whatever you want to. But it's incredibly easy to get started without having to know everything about social media. However, if you are curious, if you're an investor who really wants to understand and know everything first before you start outsourcing it, because I've worked with those kinds of investors. They want to understand how their business is working and operating at a deep level before they outsource it. So I've got all of the training inside of the content dashboard so that you can just refresh yourself and watch those videos, and you'll be up and running in about 30 minutes. Here is my contact information. I'd love to talk to you more if you have questions, or if you want to, see a tour of the back end. The investors who are using this absolutely love it because it saves them so much time and they don't have to think about it. They schedule their entire month of posts and then they get on with the business of being an investor. So
All right, you guys, I guess, we're going to wrap up for now. We're going to do the Q&A. So hang on for the Q&A if you're on the call. If you guys are watching the presentation on YouTube, please like the video. And in the comments below, please put some kind of response, comment, let us know how you liked today's presentation, what your feedback is. And hang on, we're going to go to the breakout rooms. Everybody else watching, we'll see you soon. Please come back and join us. Over and out.